You fall behind Jin, finding it difficult to grasp his character as he moves around, consistently closes his eyes, makes extravagant gestures, and revitalizes life as he does it.
So, just, this is usual then?
Yes, he's a grandiose person, let's say.
Huh. So, let me get this straight also. He has his giant bath in the center of town?
Center of town? No, that's the very edge of town, and anyone's free to use it.
Oh.
It's just Jin uses it when he knows guests are coming.
Oh, interesting. He must know way ahead of time. His house isn't exactly close to it.
The second you enter the Badlands, yes, Jin knows.
Wow. It's a lot of baths.
A lot of baths, then again, not many visitors, so I guess
true.
it evens out.
Well, but I mean, you're here.
Yes, overall it keeps him clean, I assume.
I mean, does he get dirty?
You stare at Jin. He gestures around him. You notice no grime on him. Tough question. Difficult question. One we may never know the answer to. Simply put, if you meet Jin, he will always be post-bath.
Or, during bath.
What a logical conundrum.
Is it, Horvin?
And now we've arrived. Jin motions behind him. Here you'll find the finest tea in all of Honorant.
Oh, really?
The most exquisite blends.
I know someone who would kill to get in here.
Tell them not to do that. It's a tea house. There are more
metaphorically
important things.
kill. It's an expression.
Tell them to metaphorically not do that. It's not worth it.
Gosh, okay, fine.
Jin notices Horvin's language and shrugs once again and slowly eases the door open behind him. He motions for you to move past him, kindly holding the door open for you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I carefully step past him.
He continues to bow, eyes mostly closed, a grin on his face.
I can't help but feel like I've just been tricked.
You'll get used to it eventually, I assume. Horvin sits down. Come on, take a seat.
Sure. I take a seat.
Jin sits down on the far end of the table.
Is there some sort of custom that I should have been following here?
No, you're following the custom. This is the traditional Honorian drinking form. Rather than sitting at a table across from one another, as is popular with the humans right now, this is the way it normally goes. You sit shoulder to shoulder. And you reflect on nature.
One space in between the other two? Or is that just...
Oh, that's just because there's not... Well, there are only 3 of us, Ash. Please. There are 4 seats.
But wouldn't
One
it be...
seat had to be empty.
Wouldn't it be more...
It's simple mathematics.
Right, but wouldn't it be more, make more sense if the seat on the far end was empty?
Horvin leans on the table looking to his immediate right, looking quizzical. How so?
Well, the purpose of this is to, discuss, right?
Jin,
am I missing something?
Jin from the end of the table shakes his head. No, I understand fully what you're saying. The distance between us can be interpreted as something of a put down.
I was just thinking about... Let's just go with that.
Despite saying that, Jin does not move.
So,
Oh, are you talking about the acoustics? Jin, can you hear me down there? Regardless, I'll go get the tea. You stay right there.
Okay, I will.
You stare out across an open window at the beautiful scenery. The brook babbles beneath you. The trees sway gently. Frankly, this is the most peaceful place you've ever been in your entire goddamn life.
I could get used to this.
And once you do get used to it, it's just a simple matter for those with power to freely rearrange it, to change it. It may be peaceful, but it's ever new, ever refreshing. Isn't that correct? He looks over at Ash.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement that you just made and then asked me if that was correct.
His pose remains.
I don't understand what I'm supposed to say.
Say yes. He's looking for a yes.
Yes.
He nods. In the same regard, I know that you didn't come to simply reflect on the beauty of this land stretching out before you. You came to ask me questions, from what I understand.
Yes, I originally I didn't even know of your existence or that you could answer questions. And also, I must admit, the beauty is much appreciated. I have had a very stressful couple of days.
He rolls slightly in his chair. Well, I am Jin. I'm the leader of the band. The secret fourth clan.
Wow. So, okay, there was a secret fourth clan after all.
Yes.
You know what? I think I owe Marcus some money on that.
While we may be passed off as simple bandits by the humans who wish to slander our names, we are, in essence, the very key of this nation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No?
It's here in the Ban Village, in this verdant area that Ginkala was first founded. It's here that we preserve the living legacy of the gods that humans decided to abandon. Everyone here has taken up the cause, taken up a mask for the glory that once was.
Where is here, and 2, how does that...
It's behind the reflection of the moon.
Oh, that's...
It's behind the reflection of the moon.
Okay, it's behind the reflection of the moon. Great. And my second question on that topic is how, even if you have, and I don't mean to insult you or anything, but even if you have taken up the cause of the spirits that are now gone, in what way does that affect Onorant on the outside? They don't really seem to notice you much.
We're at something of an impasse when it comes to deal with the Enorians. He means I'm something at an impasse. He uses, we a lot.
Oh.
He whispers in Ash's ear. When we were considering on how best to deal with the revival of the spirit folk, the understanding, the peace, the greater spiritual enlightenment of this nation, we ran into something of a stumbling block.
A stumbling block?
Jin stares into the distance, smile fading for a second. At the end of the day, none of us wish for the true destruction of this nation. Simply a return of it. Figuring out how to do this, we were lost. In a seeming endless fog.
Wait, so, I don't understand. How
He's
is...
saying it's a tricky problem.
And what exactly are you trying to accomplish? In clear words?
My goal, our goal, the goal of the band here is to preserve the lives of spirit folk, to return them to their rightful place. This place may be beautiful, beyond beautiful, but we want to knit it together with the very fabric of Ginkala itself. We want it to be part of the nation to which it belongs. The creatures here, the humans, the spirit folk both, have been persecuted by a line of thought. A thought that gods no longer belong in this place, that this is the country of men. What we wish is a simple return, an acceptance of the way that things were, and the respect we're owed.
Why is that so difficult? I mean, you don't really seem like, I don't know, spirits that would terrorize people. You seem unique, but you're certainly not a problematic person, I think. You're no phobiist.
And now you understand my plight. He looks down, overly dramatic. Yeah, but by the same token, just going to play, I'm just gonna play Tiefling's advocate over here, but, in the same regard, there are spirit folk that are distinctly dangerous that don't exactly listen to Jin or any of the band.
Well, but that's fine then. If the spirit is definitively dangerous, and the humans and the spirits agree that that spirit is definitively dangerous, couldn't you both work together to come up with some sort of, solution? I don't understand the problem.
The human solution is something you've seen. To kill the spirit folk and commit part of it to the ground.
Which is why I say the spirits and the humans work together to come up with a solution.
Do you think it would be so easy to work with the people who butchered your kind and intend to butcher more of them?
No.
Yes, it's tricky. Horvin slides a cup of tea over to Ash. He has one in front of himself. Jin does not take one.
Oh. Thank you, Horvin.
He won't drink tea made by me.
Oh. Is that rude?
I'm not very good at it.
Oh. I stare down at the cup of tea.
So, in a mixed nutshell, that is the Enorian situation. Ultimately, though, it gets rougher each year, as what was once merely a crime becomes cemented as a legacy. We were so cruelly overthrown, forced into such conditions. But now the new generation simply accepts it as commonplace. Very few of them are like Horvin, willing to look at the bigger picture. Looking at that, If there's anything I'm good at.
Big man, big picture, I guess.
Yes.
I stare up at Horovin.
That is a fantastic slogan, Ash. I'm going to use that.
Oh, sure.
Perfect for my business cards.
Great. I sip my tea.
It is surprisingly amazing. Horrifyingly delicious. You're scared.
I glance between Horovin and the cup. You said you're bad at this?
Yes.
This is the
I
best.
just don't measure up.
To who?
I don't know. My standards have yet to reach those to match the spirit folk around here. I'm not worthy.
Ooh. Do you mind if I take some of this when I leave?
Take it all. I don't want to see it anymore.
Okay. I sip the tea again and set it back down. So your problem is that spirits don't want to work with humans who have butchered their kind, and I mean, I don't really blame them for that. What's the opinion on the human side of things? Horovin?
Jin opens his mouth for a split second, but as you turn to Horovin, he shuts it, looking a little disappointed. Well, the situation is something like this. It's not like your suggestion hasn't been tried before. It's been attempted in the past, certainly. But there are certain cases where the spirits and the humans disagree. Natural disagreement. Take the example of Delvillian's tear, correct?
Yeah.
That was an instance of a spirit folk's remains being massively beneficial to humankind, correct?
I don't know about massively beneficial to that one little village. Humankind seems like a bit of a stretch.
To grant you greater perspective, Iocho has become a farming village thanks to the remains of that flower. It's being treated as sort of a pseudo bread box for the rest of Honorin right now.
What?
People who were starving will now not. It's as simple as that. But, by the same token, that was the remains of a spirit folk.
Right.
It was something that the ban consider sacred. I myself, was rather unsure of what to think. But, you could see where the dilemma arises. Essentially, spirit folk are a case-by-case basis. None are like the other. It's hard to form an allegiance between spirit folk and anyone else because, well, they all have different rules. Who's to say that all the spirit folk of your allegiance are, well-meaning?
Similar mind? Yeah.
But we didn't come here to discuss purely my simple problems. It was communicated to me that you had many things to ask about, and I'm sure if I can put my meager intellect to it, I can.
I raise an eyebrow as he speaks, staring at him.
He continues to have a sort of smug look. His eyes remain closed through
The
much
way
of
he
his sentences.
speaks and his body language are saying things entirely differently. You called me sister.
Yes, I did.
Why?
I felt the term simply fit. You see, I've been surrounded for so long by lesser forms, it reminded me of the old days. A mere reflection of what once was. If the term makes you uncomfortable, I will do my best to hold back.
No, I was just curious why you used a term of endearment. Or a term of familiarity, familial familiarity like that. I don't dislike it. What do you know about bindings?
Jin looks pensive for a moment. It depends on the nature of the binding. What are you talking about? Are you talking about a particular binding for ripping apart spirit folk, for condemning their essences? Or are you talking about, his eyes flash for a second, a more complete binding?
I pull back my collar a bit and point at my neck.
Jin stares down for a moment. An earnest human construction. An attempt to claim power that wasn't traditionally theirs. He stares back at you. I should also clarify, I don't begrudge you for what you are or what state you're in right now. That binding is just as much a cause for who you are as your parentage, your lineage, and I could hardly curse such a thing. He poses slightly again.
So, you used some words that I'm interested in. What you are. I've been trying to figure that out lately. What am I?
Horvid raises a hand.
I let out a breath. The tension of the situation somewhat deflated a bit. Yes, Horovin.
Ash, you are what you are. Simple as that. That...
I seem to be hearing that a lot.
It's It's something to be concerned about, however. I fully understand. I've spent the past 10 years purely wondering, what the heck am I doing? What's going on with my life? How
old are you? 40?
I am 31 years young, thank you very much.
You're a lot younger than I thought you were.
What?
But no,
Shin stares off into the distance, his seemingly overly smug, fabulous persona dying away for a split second. In a certain regard, it is nostalgic. How long has it been that I've shared a fine cup of Honorian tea with a peer, rather than, well, somebody else? You have to forgive me if I become wrapped up in the past.
A peer? Jin, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I am lost as to what you're referring to. I barely know much about myself.
Jin raises his right arm over the empty seat right about there. Power ripples through it, creating a distinct, beautiful pattern flowing from, the markings on his arm. It touches the table and begins to change it slightly. It begins to wriggle with renewed energy, creating a beautiful floral pattern, suddenly decorating the table. Appear in terms of power and understanding, the ability to shape and reshape this world as, well, we see fit. You need to understand it's been, well, decades since I've experienced another capable of such feats.
Does it cost you when you do that?
He stares at you. Eyes suddenly seeming very tired, he slowly shakes his head. I pay other prices, of course.
I down my tea and then pour some liquor into the flask. I down my tea and then pour some liquor into the empty cup.
You can... He seems quizzical for a second. You can effectively drink that stuff.
Yes?
The greater you are, the less of an influence that has. I'm shocked you've managed to find a person that could brew a liquor of such potency that you could feel anything.
I frown as Jin talks. No, it doesn't do anything. I just like the taste. I drink the entire cup.
Whoa! We
What?
need to talk about that.
It doesn't do anything.
No, he said something about the greater you are, something. I fully understand that it probably does. You're like 5 foot what?
I don't know. Something.
Excuse me, a moment. I realize I must retrieve something. Jin stands up and slowly moves out of the room, eyes closed, still smirking. I think you made a good impression.
Oh, great. He didn't really answer any of my questions.
I think he likes you. That's a good thing.
Me more questions. Always more questions.
He returns to the room, actually surprisingly quickly. He returns with a bottle of familiar liquid. You don't recognize the bottle, but the scent is unmistakable.
Is that? How did you get that?
It's rare that a human of unusual genius is able to brew this, born once every 100 years. I make it a habit of stocking up whenever I get the chance. Human lives are so fleeting.
And this is... I narrow my eyes at it and then at him and sort of smirk a bit. What do you call it?
He pours himself a cup and Ash a cup. Horvin kind of stares expectantly from the other end of the table. What is not poured for him? Over here, we call it God's breath.
I chuckle at their much cooler name.
In ages past, when my brothers and I used to throw, well, rather extravagant parties, we used to reek of the stuff. It's an unfortunately exceedingly literal name.
I actually laugh out loud at that one.
Horvin stares dead on, I don't get it.
Well, Jin, thus far it's been a pleasure to meet you. I lift up my cup in toast.
He toasts as well. Horvin continues to stare.
If you'll permit me, I have many more questions to ask.